Pokemon has no doubt been a dominating presence in what is essentially a self-created subgenre of gaming. Creature collection has remained a relative niche, even with Pokemon clearly being the most recognizable media franchise in existence, and very few developers have attempted to even touch the genre, probably because they know they can't compete with such a giant. On rare occasions though, some series have found their own audience separate from Pokemon, either by overlapping interest or even disdain for the massive Pocket Monsters property. We've witnessed the rise of Digimon and Temtem, two series that garnered enough support in spite of Pokemon to become popular and profitable in their own right. But flash forward to today, and we encounter Palworld, arguably the most successful of the three. You see, unlike Digimon and Temtem, Palworld is the only creature collection game to match the sales of some of Pokemon's highest-selling mainline games, that being the recent Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and even Pokemon Sword and Shield. The former that sold 26 million copies, and the latter that sold over 26 million. But Palworld has already sold over 25 million back in February of 2024, and it's almost been a year since then, so I imagine that number has gone up another million or two based on the rate it was increasing in such a short period of time. The craziest part is, Palworld isn't even finished yet. That's over 25 million people who were willing to buy a creature collector that isn't Pokemon, even if it wasn't finished. Though, one could argue, Pokemon games aren't finished either, and never will be, LOL. Regardless of how you look at it, though, there's no denying that Palworld has created a market for itself, and could very well have a bright future ahead of it. After all, the gameplay and vibes of Palworld were definitely crafted to be very different from Pokemon's. Palworld exchanged the family-friendly, light-hearted, and cartoonish atmosphere of Pokemon for a more adult, gritty, and graphic presentation. The gameplay of Palworld exchanged turn-based slapstick battles with real-time, violent bouts. There's also home crafting and farming elements in Palworld that aren't present in Pokemon, as well as a slew of other features that we can spend all day analyzing, but that really isn't the point of this video. The point is that Palworld can and deserves to exist alongside Pokemon. The two can coexist in today's gaming landscape. However, the Pokemon Company and Nintendo have chosen to approach the petty route. Yes, in the great land of petty and privilege, Nintendo and Pokemon teamed up to sue Palworld for, get this, patent infringements. Now, for those who are unaware, patent infringements and copyright infringements are two very different things. Many of you may think that Palworld is being sued over blatant design plagiarism from Pokemon. It's a debate that's been very prevalent among the player base of both titles. However, that would be a copyright infringement, and that is not what Palworld is being sued for. No. Pocket Pair, the developers of Palworld, have finally learned what the supposed patent infringements are by the Pokemon Company. Supposedly, what Pokemon has taken issue with is how the catching and ride mechanics in Palworld operate. They think the inputs and actions to activate and perform these tasks are a little too close to what Pokemon crafted with the Pokemon Legends series. This is extra funny considering Palworld had been in development well before the first Pokemon Legends game, but alas, they didn't patent certain functions, whereas I guess Pokemon did. Time will tell as the court case progresses, I guess. However, this move by Pokemon is by and far an act of dominance rather than an actual desire to win a court case. Yes, in the deepest recesses of the vacuum of space and petty resides the amount of money Nintendo and Pokemon are suing Palworld for. It's honestly the funniest part of all this. Get this, out of 3 counts of patent infringement, the Pokemon Company demands approximately 5 million yen each. Y'all, that's the equivalent of $32,846 each. And there's only 3 patent infringements in question here. So multiply that by 3 and the grand total is $98,538. So if Palworld was selling this early access for $30 each, This is only equivalent to about 3.5 thousand copies of their 25 million game sales. Y'all, this shit is petty. Petty as I do digress a bit, since there is an injunction included in the court case that could block the full release of Palworld, and that would be very serious. But if anything, it could be a simple fix from the developers so that they can release it, or hey, Pocket Pair could just flat out win this court case, since I was unaware that you could even patent these kinds of gameplay functions. If that were the case, then this lawsuit would set a terrible precedence going forward that would halt creativity in game development for good once only a select few gaming giants patent gameplay functions for themselves. All that's to say though, while the lawsuit is one giant petty joke, it's one meant to bully and assert dominance over smaller developers, and we should definitely keep our eyes on it. Pocket Pair has said they're sad that they have to redirect resources to this court case instead of finishing Palworld and continuing planning and development for DLC and patches. But alas, our world is kinda already going to shit. So the best we can hope for at this point is that we take small wins where we can, and I hope Pocket Pair wins this one. I love Pokemon. I have yet to play Palworld, but still look forward to playing it when the full release comes out, if it does at all now. I can enjoy and love both. They both can and should exist alongside one another. We should all be able to enjoy games we like and that make us happy. But let me know your thoughts on all this in the comment section down below so that we can discuss this further. And afterwards, check out more of my videos like this one here, where I discuss how biomes will work in Pokemon Legends EA. I've been johtojonny, and I'll catch you all there.